Text 12 and 13, chapter 10. Arjuna Vacha Param Brahma Param Dhamma Pavitram Paramam Bhavam Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adidevam Ajam Vabhum Ahuswam Rishya Sarve Devarshir Naradastata Asito Deval Vyaso Swayam Chaiva Pravishime. Arjuna Vacha, Arjuna said, Param Supreme, Brahma truth, Param Supreme, Dhamma sustenance, Param means pure, Paramam Supreme, Bhavan, you, Purusham, personality, Shashvatam, eternal, Divyam, transcendental, Aditya, the original Lord, Ajam, unborn, Vimum, greatest, Ayu, say, Tvam of you, Rishya, sages, Sarva, all, Devarshi, the sage among the sage among the demigods, Narada, Tata also Asita, Devala, Vyasa, Swayam, personal nature, also Evam, certainly, Pravishi, you are explaining me unto me. Arjuna said, you are the supreme personality of God, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa confirm this truth about you, and now you yourself are declaring it to me. Purport. In these two verses, the Supreme Lord gives a chance to the Mayavadi philosopher, for here it is clear. In these two verses, the Supreme Lord gives a chance to the Mayavadi philosopher. Here it is clear that the Supreme is different from the individual soul. Arjuna, after hearing the essential four verses of the Bhagavad Gita in this chapter, became completely free from all doubts and accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He at once boldly declares, you are Param Brahma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And previously Krishna stated that he is the originator of everything and everywhere. Every demigod and every human being is dependent on him. Men and demigods out of ignorance think that they are absolute and independent of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That ignorance is removed perfectly by the discharge of devotional service. This has already been explained in the previous verse by Lord. Now by his grace, Arjuna is accepting him as a supreme truth. In concordance with the Vedic injunction, it is not that because Krishna is Arjuna's intimate friend and Arjuna is flattering him by calling him the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the absolute truth. Whatever Arjuna says in these two verses is confirmed by the Vedic truth. Vedic injunction affirms that only one who takes to devote service to the Supreme Lord can understand him, whereas others cannot. Each and every word of this verse spoken by Arjuna is confirmed by the Vedic injunction. It is in the Kena Upanishad, it is said that the Supreme Brahman is the rest for everything. And Krishna has already explained that everything is resting on him. The Mundaka Upanishad confirms that the Supreme Lord in whom everything is resting can be realized only by those who are engaged constantly in thinking of him. This constantly thinking of Krishna is Smaranam, one of the methods of devotional service. It is only by devotional service to Krishna that one can understand his position and get rid of this material body. In the Vedas, the Supreme Lord is accepted as the purest of the pure. One who understands that Krishna is the purest of the pure can become purified from all sinful activities. One cannot be disinfected from sinful activities unless he surrenders unto the Supreme Lord. Arjuna's acceptance of Krishna as the Supreme Pure complies with the injunctions of Vedic literature. This is also confirmed by great personalities, of whom Narada is the chief. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and one who understands one should always maintain a following and enjoy one's transcendental relationship with him. He is the supreme existence. He is free from bodily needs, birth and death. Not only does Arjuna confirm this, but all the Vedic literatures, the Puranas and histories. In all the Vedic literatures, Krishna is thus described, and the Supreme Lord himself also says in the 4th chapter, although I am unborn, I appear on this earth to establish religious principles. He is the supreme origin, he has no cause, for he is the cause of all causes, and everything is emanating from him. This perfect knowledge can be had by the grace of the Supreme Lord. Here Arjuna expresses himself through the grace of Krishna. If you want to understand Bhagavad Gita, we should accept the statements in these two verses. This is called the Parampara system, acceptance of the disciplic succession. Unless one is in the disciplic succession, he cannot understand Bhagavad Gita. It is not possible by so-called academic education. Unfortunately, those proud of their academic education, despite so much evidence, in Vedic literature stick to their obstinate conviction that Krishna is an ordinary person. Text 14. Sarvametadritam manye yanmam vadasi keshava nahite bhagavan viktim vidur devana danava. Sarva all etad this ritam truth manye I accept yet that which mam unto me vadasi you tell. Keshava Krishna na never he certainly you you are Bhagavan. O personality of Godhead, Vyaktim revelation, Vidhu can know Devaha, the demigods, nor Dhanava, the demons. O Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me, neither the demigods nor the demons, O Lord, can understand your personality. Purport. Arjuna herein confirms that the persons of faithless and demonic nature cannot understand Krishna. He is not known even by the demigods, so what to speak of the so-called scholars of this modern world? By the grace of the Supreme Lord, Arjuna has understood that Krishna, that Supreme Truth is Krishna and that he is the perfect one. One should therefore follow the path of Arjuna. He received the authority of Bhagavad Gita. As described in the 4th chapter, the Parampara system of disciple succession for the understanding of the Bhagavad Gita was lost. And therefore Krishna re-established the disciplic succession with Arjuna because he considered Arjuna his intimate friend and a great devotee. Therefore, as stated in our introduction to Gita Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita should be understood in the Parampara system. When the Parampara system was lost, Arjuna was selected to rejuvenate it. The acceptance by Arjuna of all that Krishna says should be emulated. Then we can understand the essence of Bhagavad Gita, and then only can we understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 15. Swayam eva atmanatmanam vetatvam purushottama bhuta bhavana bhutesha deva deva jagatpate. Swayam personality, eva certainly, atmana by yourself, atmanam yourself, veta no, tvam you purushottama, O greatest of all persons, bhuta bhavana, O origin of everything, Buddha Isha, O Lord of everything, Deva Deva, O Lord of all demigods, Jagatpati, O Lord of the entire universe. Indeed, you alone know yourself by your own internal potency, O Supreme Person, origin of all, Lord of all beings, God of gods, Lord of the universe. Purport. The Supreme Lord Krishna can be known by persons who are in a relationship with him. Through the discharge of devote service like Arjuna and his followers, persons of demoniac or atheistic mentality cannot know Krishna. Mental speculation that leads one away from the Supreme Lord is a serious sin, and one who does not know Krishna should not try to comment on the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is a statement of Krishna, and since it is a science of Krishna, it should be understood from Krishna as Arjuna understood it. It should not be received from atheistic persons. As stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam 1-11, Vadanti tat tattva vidas tattvam yajnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shabdate. The Supreme Truth is realized in three aspects: as impersonal Brahman, local as Paramatma, at last as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, at the last stage of the understanding of absolute truth, one comes to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A common man or even a liberated man who has realized impersonal Brahman or local as Paramatma may not understand God's personality. Such men therefore may endeavor to understand the Supreme Person from the verses of the Bhagavad Gita which are being spoken by this person, Krishna. Sometimes the impersonalists accept Krishna as Bhagavan or they accept his authority, yet many liberated persons cannot understand Krishna as Purushottama, the Supreme Person. Therefore, Arjuna addresses him as Purushottama, yet one still may not understand that Krishna is the father of all living entities. Therefore, Arjuna addresses him as Bhuta Bhavan, and if one comes to know him as the father of all living entities, one may not know him as the Supreme Controller. Therefore, he is addressed here as Bhutesha, the Supreme Controller of everyone. And even if one knows Krishna as Supreme Controller of all living entities, one still may not know that he is the origin of all the demigods. Therefore, he is addressed here as Deva Deva, the worshipful God of all demigods. And even if one knows him as the worshipful God of all demigods, one may not know that he is the Supreme Proprietor of everything. Therefore, he is addressed as Jagatpati. Thus, the truth about Krishna is established in this verse by the realization of Arjuna, and we should follow in the footsteps of Arjuna to understand Krishna as he is. Text 16. Bhaktum arasya seshena divyahi atma vibhutaya yaver vibhutir virlokan imam svayam vyapyatishtasi. Bhaktum to say arasi, you deserve asheshena in detail. Divya, divine, he certainly, Atma, your own, Vibhutaya, opulences, Yabhi, by which Vibhuti be opulences, Lokan, all the planets. Iman, these, Tvam, you, Vyapya, pervading Tishtasi, remain. Please tell me in detail of your divine opulences by which you pervade all these worlds. In this verse, it appears that Arjuna is already satisfied with his understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by Krishna. By Krishna's gaze, Arjuna has personal experience, intelligence, and knowledge, and whatever else a person may have. And through all these agencies, he has understood. He understood Krishna to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For him, there is no doubt. Yet, he is asking Krishna to explain his all-pervading nature. People in general and impersonalists in particular concern themselves mainly with the all-pervading nature of the Supreme. So Arjuna is asking Krishna how he exists in all his all-pervading aspect through his different energies. One should know that this is being asked by Arjuna on behalf of the common people. Katam vidyam aham yogis त्वां सदा परिचिन्तयन् केषु केषु च भावेषु चिन्त्योऽसि भगवन् मया कथं how vidyam aham shall I know yogi no supreme mystic tvam you sada always parichintayan thinking of keshu in which cha also bhaveshu natures chintaya asi you are to be remembered Bhagavan O supreme maya by me. O Krishna, O Supreme Mystic, how shall I constantly think of you and how shall I know you? In what various forms are you to be remembered, O Supreme Personality of Godhead? Purport: as it is stated in the previous chapter, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is covered by his Yoga Maya. Only the surrendered souls and devotees can see him. Now Arjuna is convinced that his friend Krishna is the Supreme Godhead, but he wants to know the general process by which the all-pervading Lord can be understood by the common man. Common men, including the demons and ytis, cannot know Krishna because he is guarded by his Yoga Maya energy. Again, these questions are asked by Arjuna for their benefit. The superior devotee is concerned not only for his own understanding but for the understanding of all mankind. So Arjuna, out of his mercy, because he is a Vaishnava, a devotee, is opening for the common man the understanding of the all-pervasiveness of the Supreme Lord. He addresses Krishna specifically as Yogin because Sri Krishna is the master of Yoga Maya energy by which he is covered and uncovered to the common man. The common man who has no love for Krishna cannot always think of Krishna. Therefore, he has to think materially. Arjuna is considering the mode of thinking of the materialistic persons of this world. The words Keshu Keshu Bhaveshu refer to material nature. The word Bhava means physical things because materialists cannot understand Krishna spiritually. They are advised to concentrate the mind on physical things and try to see how Krishna is manifested by physical representations.